Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Oh my goodness. I had to arrange it so my room would be empty right now since I didn't realize that it was gonna be this weekend that my family's gonna have like others stay over, so my bed is not my room is not all to myself. I gotta share my room because one of the other rooms had to be vacated, so then because two people are coming over, so I'm like, oh well, you know, it's okay though. At least I have my room all to myself for now. Just though. It's fine. Time to get through the prep stream. Ugh, though. I had some stress. It's okay though. At least my room's to myself for now. So starting off with Grain Buds, woohoo! She's so cute. I'm excited for the event. Once it gets here eventually. But for now, file time. Basic info. Code name, Grain Buds. Gender, female. Combat experience, none. Place of birth, Yan. Date of birth, May 21st. Race, Liberi. Height, 153 centimeters. Infection status, medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam, physical strength normal, mobility standard, physical resilience normal, tactical acumen normal, combat skill normal, Originium arts assimilation excellent. Profile, Grain Buds is an ordinary girl from Dahlang, an important agricultural settlement in the north of Yan. She has considerable experience handling stock beasts and followed Shu to Rhodes Island, where she now sees as a temporary visitor. Clinical analysis, imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows has been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no signs of infection. At this time, this operator is confirmed to be uninfected. Cell Originium assimilation 0%. Operator Grain Buds shows no sign of Originium infection. Blood Originium crystal density 0.12. Grain Buds rarely comes into contact with Originium. Archive File 1. Outstanding farmer of Dahlang, honorary stock beast breeding expert, honorary rice planting master, excellency in stock beast feed research. I love all her titles! Tempting. Actually, doesn't the event start in like... later... Not exactly tomorrow, but like... 2 days-ish? So it wouldn't be tomorrow, unfortunately. Upon repeated verification, the above honors were all found to be genuine. Grain Buds always puts all of her effort into doing things she is capable of. Having grown up in Dahuang, she's been infected by the residents' gung-ho attitude toward farming since a young age, and believes that to put food on the table, you have to earn your keep. Before she was even as tall as a hoe, she was already imitating the farmers and planting seeds. Unable to bear the sight, the elderly farmers instead sent her to feed the stock beasts, only to find that they behaved especially well around her, almost as if they were on the same wavelength. As such, she was able to manage the massive ranches there in a very organized and tidy manner. Grain Buds has kept herself busy even after coming aboard Rhodes Island as a visitor. She's developed new recipes with the logistics operators at the cafeteria, helped care for the plants at the convalescent garden, and naturally never forgets to give every one of the new friends she's made here an easy to remember and pleasant sounding nickname. Many medical operators have noted their work stress greatly decreasing thanks to her being around to look after juvenile patients and comfort them when receiving injections or medicine. Guess it's easier for kids around the same age to hit it off. Or maybe she thinks she's still taking care of stock beasts? Ah yes, children are stock beasts. Archive File 2. Rhodes Island is already home to a number of so-called animal experts, and it's not at all uncommon for beasts to be trained to complete certain tasks. That said, none have ever dared to claim to speak to animals, until Grain Buds, that is. She insisted on demonstrating her talents. First, she found a host First she found a lost storm cloud beast on the top deck by communicating with another cloud beast. Next, she used the flute to command a few metal crabs to pick up the food waste scattered about the kitchen. Beanstalk insists that her crabs have always known how to do this. Finally, she even attempted to bring a couple of slumber feet to help insomnia patients get to sleep, only to fall asleep herself in the hallway instead. Oh, it's so cute! From this, we cannot completely rule out the possibility that she does actually have some sort of strange ability. She's a Disney princess. According to herself, there was this one time when she was 5 years old that she got lost and went outside the city. The farmers couldn't find her anywhere, and just as everyone was at wit's end, an old stock beast waded across the river with her sitting on its back. Ever since, she's been very close to stock beasts, and over time, she found that she was able to understand the words of all kinds of animals. The stock beast would tell her which orchard had the sweetest fruits, and traveling fowl beasts would tell her that the flowers were in full bloom in the south, etc. When Greenbud speaks vividly about the colorful land filled with wonder in her childlike tone, she is always able to pique the curiosity for listeners. How did the stock beast know the way back? How wide was the river? What's a city full of farms like? The listeners gather around her and bombarded her with questions. She seems to have an endless number of amazing stories to tell as well. For example, there was the gang war between stock beasts, the stock beasts and fowl beasts who befriended each other and ran away together, the Finn who swam all across Yan on an adventure. Does it matter if they're true? Just imagining the countryside depicted in her stories is enough to stir one's emotions. Hello, hello! Archive File 3. Aside from her ability to talk to animals, Greenbuds is most proud of her flute skills. She'll proudly tell others how she performed for Dahuang's operas year after year. With her small bamboo flute, she is able to play a variety of distinct melodies, from grand accompaniments pairing with the opera's epic scenes to melodious tunes to send resting stock beasts peacefully to sleep. Everyone who has heard her flute has been astonished to see such a seemingly frail girl exert so much energy in one go. She is always happy to use her flute to bring comfort to those around her. And she also loves to, in her own words, write new melodies according to her mood. I am not prepared for summer in FGO. I was weak today. I was like, Daikokuten, I want you. I gave 2 multiples to Bunyan's banner. I got Bunyan, but no Daikokuten. Oh well, you know, it's still fine. Ha 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 ha. Ooh, Aya 6 just dropped on a taste place in Yan. Oh, nice. Hello, hello. Her tunes are all uplifting and pleasing to the ear, and Hesheng occasionally writes lyrics to them. The farmers toiling in the fields would always sing along whenever they heard the music, and just like that, the two of them created a number of childlike folk songs that spread throughout Dahuang. In her hazy memories, she once heard her mother playing a reed whistle, but her Tianchi duties took her away from Dahuang before she could teach her daughter how to make one. Later, she learned how to make the whistles herself, as well as how to play the bamboo flute. The girl learned to play more and more music, yet her parents never returned. Oof! To this day, her melodious flute can still be heard by Dahuang's riverbank, awaiting the return of faraway travelers. Ouch! Not only is she a Disney princess, she's also a shonen protagonist. Dang, Rainbuds. Classified log. Therefore, a Chamber of Heaven's design shall be established roughly 100 li to the north of Dahuang in preparation for the demonic threat. Its forces shall consist of those gifted in originium arts, as selected by the Tianchi Bureau, those who enter the Chamber of Heaven's designs, each possessing great skills and a firm resolve, shall train at length and be ready for battle at all times. After a year, only half shall remain. After another year, less than 1/10 shall remain. This shall continue year after year. The scourge of the demon fist and foremost robs one of his mind. And by the time one finds his mind even slightly clouded, it's already too late. Countless have been buried in the north to ensure the survival of their fellows. Relatively few instead live out their years with their minds clouded, rendered incapable of coherent speech for the rest of their lives. Skeletally thin, not even their old acquaintances can can recognize them, excerpts pertaining to Dahuang from a history of Yan requiring a very high clearance level. Archive File 4. To those who live in these lands, the word homeland is a transient concept. No one knows when their home will be destroyed by catastrophe. Nomadic cities travel everywhere, and villages continue to migrate ceaselessly. What exactly is the homeland? Is it the skyscrapers going up day after day in the nomadic cities, or is it the rubble left behind by the catastrophe's wake? Yet there are still those who, regardless of the price, have continued to guard the swath of land important to them for thousands of years. Such a long-lasting defense of the same area is extraordinarily rare. Such is the place where Greenbuds was born and raised. Having seen all the fields and the men and women working them from a young age, she knows every blade of grass and every tree like the back of her hand. She remembers every crop in every field. She remembers which grasses each kind of stock beast likes to eat. She remembers how she once fell from a tree and hurt her leg, and Hesheng carried her home on his back across half of Dahuang under the setting sun. The land incorporates the history and memories of the people here, and it becomes part of them. That's how the people of the land are connected, which is why she too is holding the fort here, watching the crops grow green and then yellow, before they are harvested and new seeds are sown anew. She watches the fields grow larger and larger, as the stock beasts around her grow bit by bit. She sits atop a stock beast's back, playing her flute to guide the passing caravans, as well as sending travelers from afar on their way. Promotion record: Green Buds. The stock beast herding girl sits atop a pile of straw and slowly reads out her name. The Xiangzhang said, "My parents gave me this name. Green buds are what you call the seeds when they're starting to turn full but haven't completely ripened yet. It means I'll be healthy when I grow up, teeming with hope." The woodcutter, still with somewhat lifeless-looking eyes, sits unsteadily in the pile of straw as well. His back is stiff and straight, his legs appear uncomfortable, and he holds tightly onto his Tianti ruler. Evidently, the girl had dragged him here. "Give me your hand, I'll write my name. You just read along." The man's coarse, thick fingers were pried open by the young girl's small hand to reveal his palm. She stuck out a finger and started writing. The woodcutter thought it was ticklish. He did as the girl said and opened his mouth to laboriously let out some sounds. Green. Green buds. Green buds. Yep, that's right. Put them together like that. Green buds. My name. Green buds. The woodcutter lowered his head and gently moved his lips. Green buds. The girl leapt in joy, her whole head covered in straw. "Mute, uncle! You can say my name!" Aw, it's pretty cute. Like, oh heck yeah! It's super bountiful, which is pretty amazing. Like, even with all the effort of trying to get better crops to grow in catastrophe-ridden areas, it's still pretty epic. Like, dang. And now to steer a tiny bit over here. On the field. Little bird. Wait, is that a little bird? Is that an instrument? Or is it just a decoration? I can't tell. May 10th. It feels like I'm going in circles. These so-called social activities keep dragging me back to Dahuang. Not only does the weather not suit me, I can barely understand their accent, and I heard that their pickled vegetables are super salty. I don't know how I'm gonna make it an entire year. As I expected, nothing has gone right since I arrived. I thought I could at least talk to people, but I keep tripping over my own tongue. Not only can nobody understand a word I say, but the stock beasts keep running away from me. May 21st. I run into a strange young girl standing tiptoe atop the backs of the stock beasts. She jumped around on top of them, and at first glance you think she was a foul beast that had fallen into the herd. There I was, one leg sunk deep in the mud, while my other foot is barely covered, trudging through the muck, when she started laughing at me. "Silly head," she said. "Me? Take off your shoes." "Eh? I'll teach you how to walk on top of the stock beast so you don't have to go through the mud." I got thrown off the Saki's back 8 times that day. And I'm sure I ate more mud than rice by dinner time. Ugh. She thumped me across my back, her plumage flapping about as she laughed. Though my luck may be bad, looking at her smiling face makes me feel like that there's nothing that can hold me down for long. That's pretty cute. I am not prepared at all for the Nikkei summer banners. That's gonna hurt me so much this time. Like, I gave too much to Stellar Blade. But I resisted trying to go for Sora. But Just July 8th. The girl was crouching down by the stock-based pen this time, swaying her head as she played her flute into the herd. Hey, Claypot, come quick. Who? You're new here, right, Claypot? I forgot to tell you last time, but my name's Greenbuds. Oh, she was talking to me? Do you want to learn how to talk to stock-based? I'd say I'm better at it than anyone in all of Yan. She held my face in one hand while holding a stock-based in the other, and told us to look into each other's eyes. That day might be the first time I realized a stock-based, bright, intelligent eyes possess the same basic range of emotions as any man. Since then, the stock-based really did stop running away from me, from the sound of my voice. I never expected someone like me, who's always getting chased and nipped by tusk beasts, to suddenly have a group of animal friends. Aw, teaching her the power of friendship. Huge. Summer Doro gets 200 tickets. You're not even going to tempt the 1%. Understandable. Oh, Summer Dorothy's gonna hurt me the most. So hello, Summer Eleg. And of course, I'm getting that costume gacha banner. I'm prepared to drop the 60. It'll hurt, but Ooh, your main goal's gonna be Chloe for the FGO Summer banner. Oh, super duper good luck. I want my Tamlins. I want everyone, honestly, but if I have to be extra specific, Tamlins, love me. Love me, please. And now for Zuole. Let's see how his thing goes. Basic info. Codename Zuole. Gender male. Combat experience 2 years. Place of birth Yan. Date of birth April 30. Race Vidya. Height 175 centimeters. Infection status. Medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam. Physical strength standard. Mobility outstanding. Physical resilience standard. Tactical acumen excellent. Combat skill standard. Originium art simulation standard. I'm surprised his combat skill is only standard. I thought he would have trained more. Profile. Zuole, a candle holder of the Sui Regulator, the secret agency handling Yan's Fairmont problem. Currently stationed at Rhodes Island on supervisory duty, he regularly reports back to Yan. Sometimes participates in missions for Rhodes Island as a part-time field operator. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules had not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation 0%. Operator Zuole shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density 0.13. Despite extensive time in the field, Operator Zuole's training allows him to avoid risks of infection. Over 1K staying course for summer. Oh my goodness! Ooh! If you manage to get Summer Castor early, you could be tempted to get the Sussy Mothman. Ooh! I hope you can get it early though. Right now, by the time summer comes out, I'll have like 300 staying course maybe. I'll see. Something like that. Archive File 1, Report 1. Rhodes Island situation is consistent with the existing intel. The company maintains a regular armed presence for escorting supplies and resolving small-scale infected conflicts. There's currently no indication that they have borrowed the power of the Sui proxies in such conflicts. Numerous persons of interest from various countries have been spotted on Rhodes Island. Minister of the Judicial Review Office, Lin Qingyan's association with the organization was known, but that of Lady Chen, niece of Lord Wei, was not. I confess to being surprised to find her at an neuropathy pharmaceutical company after she resigned from the LGD. She presently shows no signs of associating with the Sui proxies. 2 kissing quartz on you. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. And 200 single pulls. Oh, I love that. Oh gosh. Alcohol next year is gonna hurt. Though I saw that their banner is gonna come out like towards the end of April, so I'm just gonna be like, happy birthday, self. You'll have Alco and Alice. Like, woohoo! Report 4. July 9. At 0900 hours, Nyan entered the engineering department workshop, exiting at 1700 hours. Further investigation indicated that 3 engineering operators were in the same workshop, engaging in games of mahjong with her. The 3 of them lost 121.5, 76, and 59 Lungmen dollars to her respectively. The amount wagered was legal under Jannie's law. I love always monitoring if this is legal or not. Wow. I know, right? I love that. Misaki steady. That means they have to come home. Note from Nyan. The kid sat down with me and played 2 rounds under the pretext of questioning. Since when was he so bold? And is the Sui regulator gonna cover the 130 LMD he lost to me? Wow, he would have lost he lost the most. Report 11. I discovered that Ling is a regular at a bar on Rhodes Island that only opens at night. Chongyue teaches hand-to-hand combat to field operators. Shu tends to plants in the greenhouse, while Nyan and Dusk have attempted to influence the cafeteria's menu to no avail. In other words, no different from last month. It seems the investigation has run into an impasse. Caught this guy trying to sneak into the archives. When Jia Yun apprehended Zuo Lei and brought him to us, we praised her for her vigilance and decided to sit down and have a good talk with them. Nyan and her siblings are here as guests of Rhodes Island. While they rarely show up together, their unique position means that any movement by any one of them is bound to draw attention. We become accustomed to dealing with important people from important factions, and the fact that the Sui regulator has opted to send just a single candle holder should be taken as a sign of friendship, or at the very least, non-hostility. Ultimately, we tactically permitted Zuo Lei to keep an eye on our Jannie's VIPs, provided that he does not provoke them. We believe that he has the professional knowledge to act appropriately. A little bit of peace and quiet is always a good thing in times like these. We hope that he will successfully adjust to life in Rhodes Island. Aww. Ah yes, the problem of babysitting. Archive File 2, Classified Log. Fairymuts played a major role in early Jannie's history. The Jannie's people broke from the ancient beliefs in gods very early on, giving rise to the conceptual equivalent of the Fairymutt. Jannie's scholars discovered a site believed to be the remains of a god. Carcass-shaped mountains reach the clouds, along with broken arches filled with holes. Countless smaller creatures live within, their bones weaving a complex structure in these holes. Underneath the carcass was withered vegetation and decayed remains. But that decay gave birth to new life. That was a turning point when the country's scholars came to understand the Fairymuts not as gods, but as living creatures that could be studied and understood. This gave rise to the position of candleholder, and their motto, carry the fire that drives out the shadows of the Fairymutt, and travel amongst the people to learn their troubles. The imagery of the candleholder may have originated from the scholars walking into the remains of the Fairymutt with their lanterns, and the connotation of seeking truth and understanding. Classified Log 2. Record of secret operation on October of 1087. Tracks of the Fairymutt, believed to have departed Yan 1,000 years ago, were detected 40 km to the northwest of Yumen. The reason for its return is unknown. Yumen entered a state of alert, and 5 battleship squadrons were deployed, supported by 2 additional squadrons from Lungmen. Through the blinding dust and sand kicked up by the battleships and the nomadic city, the silhouettes of mountains could be seen on the horizon. After 2 days of standoff, The ferryman began moving towards the south, away from Yanni's territory. The scene was witnessed from atop the core city by garrison commander Zuo Xuanliao, dozens of veteran Tianqis, and a 4-year-old child. What is that? The enemy. Archive File 3. Zuo has spent almost all of his free time honing his combat skills. He eagerly talks to operators hailing from different regions, learning about different styles and techniques for various situations. He also regularly asks other operators to spar with him, showing no frustration whether he's getting knocked down by waifu or losing a foot race to granny. Instead asking them for advice. He appears to have little interest in winning or losing, seemingly training for his own sake. Isn't he a little young to have that sort of mentality? His daily schedule has started to look a lot like Chungyu's. I now understand that the martial arts are like farming, permitting neither complacency nor impatience. I merely complete the task before me, one step at a time. I have been chasing after something or other ever since the day I first learned Qinggong, whether it be bandits, fugitives, my father's expectations, or my seniors. Dahuang was the first time I chased the stock beast though. You see different things on the farmlands. Zuo speaks fondly of his punishment at Dahuang. He learned about agriculture, planted crops himself, and harvested alongside the Tianqis and farmers. Aside from Yumen and Baizhao, it is a place he has the most vivid memories of. Every martial artist runs into a wall at some point. Overcome it. It's just about putting in the work over time. There isn't much I can teach him. He's more talented than I am. Xiubai. Classified log. I heard about Dahuang. The Central Judicial Office will intervene if necessary. No, this is a matter for the Sui regulator. Things are still under control. The sinner, the merchant he is in cahoots with, and the Shanhaizong. Are you not anxious? And what would being anxious accomplish? If it rains, you bring an umbrella. Besides, I made my own preparations. This file will reach the right people at the right time. Archive File 4. Zuo has spoken of his upbringing in Yumen, a stronghold in northern Yan. He grew up living as a soldier, just like his father and the defenders of Yumen before him. In his youth, he often climbed the city walls in defiance of the rules, for which he was duly punished. But the Grandmaster took notice and started teaching Qinggong. Zuo would compete against the other soldiers in mounted archery and sneak out with the patrols just to see the sun set in the valley. Standing atop Yumen, one sees nothing but desert to the west and scattered villages and nomadic cities to the east. When his father told him to protect the people's well-being for the first time, it left a deep impression on the young Zuo. Soon after, he was sent to live with his mother, who had stayed behind in the capital and studied in the academies of Baizhao. I thought father wanted me to become a soldier like him. I thought I was ready to spend my life fighting or die trying. I thought it would be glorious. But father's attitude was firmer than I had ever seen him when he sent me back to the capital. My luggage and my ride were already waiting for me when I returned from the barracks, and he practically stuffed me into the car. Life with mother was very different. Zuo described Baizhao, the capital of Yan, as a solemn and dignified city. The city of countless stoves is more impressive than any other nomadic city roaming this land. Towers reaching to the heavens, majestic academies, walls that stretch as far as the eye can see. The city itself is a very embodiment of law and order, and this was impressed upon Zuo the day he arrived. Perhaps he could have finished his education quietly and become an official like Liang Shun, a position that certainly has its share of responsibilities and restrictions, but one that is much safer than being on the front lines of Yumen. The reason he chose the path of the candle holder, a life hardly less dangerous than a soldier's, can be traced back to the day he encountered an old man while browsing through history books in the Academy's library. But enough idle chatter. From the battlefields of Yumen, to the academies of Baizhao, to the tireless travels of a candle holder, Zuo has seen much more than his age would imply. Rhodes Island's first encounter with him can be traced to Operator Cruz's trip to Shangshu. Since then, we have learned much about the conflicts in Changshu, the catastrophe at Yumen, and the Dahuang crisis through operators involved in the events. Hello? While Zulele was not necessarily at the center of these events, he did consistently brave the dangers on the front lines, and just from hearing the accounts, I could not help but respect the young man. He has always stood tall and shouldered heavy responsibilities with a fire in his eyes, but enough sentimentality. I cannot help but hope for further cooperation with him. Even though formally speaking, he's only here as an observer from Yan, idealists always walk similar paths, and he's already started helping the logistics department by using his skills to transport supplies. Promotion record: March 1102. Repairs at the Sword Forge are complete. I saw a funeral service being held there. I didn't go in. I remember the old man. I saw him in the barracks before I left Yumen to study in Baizao. He gave me a sword. I still don't know why. May 1102. Scribbled picture: wheat. Scribbled picture: millet. Wielding a scythe is very different from wielding a sword. The record of martial combat is of little help. See and think. June 1102. They say millions of crops are harvested each year, but each must be cared for individually. Same then for all the people. I think I understand better now. Zulez keeps a clean and tidy journal, recording the details of his missions each month. Ever since he became a candle holder. At some point, however, things started to change. He has allowed you to read it. Aw, look at him sharing. Sharing is caring. You nights be fleeting. Okay, so it is pack? Zanyan has realized that he's on the brink of falling and turning into mincemeat. He had been arguing with his fellow Shanghai Zong fugitives a moment ago, when in the blink of an eye they faded away one by one into the forest's faint shadows. All he could remember was that a spear had embedded itself into a tree trunk. And then he was bound by a rope that had suddenly dropped out from the sky. After which, he found himself suspended above a riverside cliff. Zanyan, male, feline. From the eastern side of Jiangxi. Upon hearing these words, the trussed-up villain stares at the young man who had said them. All he sees is a Ophidia youth clad in black, carrying a long box and walking along atop the precipice. You've collaborated with the Shanghai Zong, gathering in the wilderness as part of your sinister schemes. As chief among them, you're aware of which of Yan's laws you have broken? Pah! You think a limp-wristed bureaucrat like you, with hardly a hair in his chest, can scare me? I'll kill you right here, right now! The river mist scatters, and the moonlight shines upon the bureaucrat's iron mask. Son of a... You're Sui regulator candle holder. Zanyan's entire body breaks out into a cold sweat. Since you are aware of the Sui regulators, then you must also be aware that the youth takes a single step forward. While colluding with the Shanghai Zong, you have committed no small number of grisly and violent murders. A candle holder has the authority to act as a substitute for a formal trial under the 3 organs of justice, and may render their judgment on the spot. The wind blows. Zanyan too was no ordinary man, and grits his teeth in defiance, waiting for the opportune moment when the candle holder approached to hoist his body up, throwing out a fierce and mighty Dalgua Jingzong kick. His dagger-like toe claw lets out a howling wind, coming dangerously close to the youth's throat while slicing apart the ropes holding him aloft. The imposing villain shrugs off his tattered bonds, leaping down into a passing fishing boat below the cliff and grabbing the steersman by the arm. Get this boat moving faster, damn it! The boat's engine sputters into life, picking up speed as it leaves the riverbank. Thanks to his daring escape from a summary execution by the Sui regulator, Zanyan can't help but proudly look back at the cliff top. With the aid of the boat's aft lanterns, he clearly sees the black-clad youth take a deep breath before using the momentum of kicking off from the cliff's edge to fly midair for 20-odd zang in a flash. The waves of the river are dotted with the multitude of white flowers, and he looks to all the world like an onyx leaf blown by the great gale, quietly landing aboard the boat. What a thing to see! Just And oh, one of the favorite items. Polly! Oh, my precious Polly! I have to give her hers automatic. The box opens, and the youth lightly clasps his scabbard. This is a sui regulator business. You'll be compensated as per the law once I'm done here. You. Zanyan begins to open his mouth, but is quickly shut up by the lanterns on either side of the boat being neatly sliced off by the youth's sword. The straight and sharp longsword stirs up fragments of glass in the dark, causing Zanyan's heart, still leaping wildly from his daring escape, to calm into icy terror. The cutting edge is not yet descended. Instead, like a lance, the youth kicks past the steerman's shoulder, his foot implanting itself into the villain's throat. Zanyan feels all the strength leave his body, and he slams backwards into the boat's deck, a warm river of fear between his thighs. Ugh. Just before losing consciousness, he finally clearly sees the deep green eyes behind the iron mask, dark as a new moon, alongside the golden words inscribed in the inside of the box. Only seen when fetching the sword. Candle bright, stay shining. You night, be fleeting. I feel so bad for this boat person. He's like, oh man, my lanterns got slashed and now I gotta clean this up too. Ew. Oh my. I wanna see that happening, especially with like the... thighs. Epically jumps off cliff. Darts across water into the boat. Like, dang, that's actually really cool, Zole. That is super cool. I give him credit for that. And now, hello, Saga. Oh, beautiful Saga. Basic info. Codename Saga. Gender female. Combat experience 2 years. Place of birth, Higashi. Date of birth, December 31st. Hello, hello. Race, Pero. Height, 164 centimeters. Infection status, medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam. Physical strength standard. Mobility standard. Physical resilience standard. Tactical acumen standard. Combat skill excellent. Originium arts assimilation standard. Ooh, look at Saga with the excellent combat skill. Dang. Oh my, oh my. Okay, between Margaret or Saria. You know, I gotta say Saria just because... like, Saria intimidates me more. Profile. A wandering monk from Higashi. Some holes in her background. Originally entered a Rhodes Island office by mistake. As one does. Once inquiries showed she was interested in employment, she passed the exams and joined the company. Seems to have previously made links with Rhodes Island operator Lava. Makes ample use of the naginata she carries with vigorous skill, and is active as a vanguard operator on the front lines. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules had not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation, 0%. Operator Saga shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density, 0.12. Operator Saga rarely comes into contact with originium. Furthermore, her lifestyle and work-rest balance are very healthy. We hope a few other operators can learn from her. Archive File 1. A lively Higashi errant monk, she claims that she never shaved her head as she is not in any way a formal monk. Her character is also unlike the image of an Eastern monk. She is supremely outgoing, unable to resist joining a crowd to see the hubbub. It hasn't taken long for her to give regards to most operators. Moreover, as someone previously cut off from the modern-day life, she has an intense capacity for learning and taking up new and novel things. Though she might make a few jokes when obtaining something fresh, you'll see her making proficient use of it not long after. And she seems to endlessly enjoy learning how to use every sort of machine. Archive File 2. Since the cradle, Saga grew up in a monastery. For as long as she could remember, she would follow her master and the other apprentices in practicing martial arts and chanting the sutras. When she had grown and left, the monastery was situated on a nameless mountain in the north of Higashi. But that was not its original place. The monastery relocated there to avoid a catastrophe when she was 7. It was fortunate a catastrophe messenger alerted them in time, and they didn't bear the catastrophe's direct brunt. Additionally, she recounts that even as many mountain monasteries resisted incorporating to cities, most mastered their own rapid dismantlement and reestablishment in contrast. Beyond that one relocation, she never once descended the mountain before, having always lived a frugal life in the monastery. It's thus that life below the mountain was entirely unknown and unfamiliar to her. Saga says that, at the start, her old head priest was opposed to her descending, for a very simple reason. Saga was too pure, and were she to enter the worldly society, he feared that there would be much problem. However, Saga further says that late the night of his refusal, he roused her awake, and the two of them went to the monastery square, master and disciple, forefather and descendant. They took a staff to each one, and answered to each question, from the moon to overhead until the first light in the east. When ultimately, the head priest allowed her to descend, Saga says she still doesn't understand to this day why the head priest would fight her and then let her go. But Saga has closely forgotten about what they asked and answered on that night, to the point we're unable to unearth the full picture. But perhaps it was within Saga's answers that the head priest confirmed something, and so could allow her to embark on the practice with full confidence. Well, it says she's good at fighting, so it's like, dang girl, you know what? You got this. I believe in you. Mizuki's from Higashi too? Dang. Archive File 3. While she's plenty eager to come to grips with modern machinery and trendy culture, Saga still gives people a sense of error mismatch most of the time. This isn't to say there's any problem with her. Just the opposite. Compared to her, many people might notice problems with themselves. When scheduled for missions, she's granted to get up at 6 o'clock, do an hour of morning exercise, an hour of meditation, and then get down to work for the day. After work's over, if all is as usual, she'll go to sleep at 9 on the dot. She has great interest in machinery and will watch screen programs or play games with some other operators. She enjoys herself tremendously, but is also able to set it all aside without any hesitation. She'll also question injustices that many nowadays would even call natural or given, and these will distress her. This isn't Saga's first year off the mountain by a long shot. She's already lived out here for a long while, but still continues on this way. This is the very way she lives. Saga is very lively, kind-hearted, and endearing, but at times stands out greatly. And other times, her voice can feel piercing. To put it bluntly, Saga's presence makes people afraid at times. Of course, this fear is nothing of a bad sort. Archive File 4. Concerning how Saga and Lava came to know each other, both seem to intentionally avoid this topic. All we know is that in her time in Yan, Saga coincided with Lava and Rose Island by chance. That said, after joining Rhodes Island, Saga's first act was to immediately find Lava and Cruz in the middle of training, They all regarded their chance reunion with a pleasant surprise. However, Saga only learned afterwards that the course she took while lost happened to fall right behind Lava's team. In other words, at almost the exact same time, both parties made it to the office and arrived at the Rhodes Island landship, which struck a particularly ironic note. Saga knows of many things. Hey, hello. So many that her age seems at odds with her experiences. People ask Saga out of curiosity where she traveled before, and Saga always recounts it piece by piece without reservation. Occasionally, you might hear some profound philosophy fall from the young monk's mouth, though she doesn't make any note of it in the least. The problem is, Saga's age suggests her leaving Higashi to wander the map couldn't have been any more than 10 years ago. So where has she seen so many people and walked so many roads? Saga says, "It was in pictures." I do not tell lies, good sir. They'll face with me now, and I respect thee just as I ought. I'm unable to speak in more definite terms, so I ask, fault me not for talking in riddles. Saga. Quit bothering Saga. You can go ask our friendly little stay-at-home dusk all about it, if you dare anyway. Lava. Promotion record. Saga's bewilderment is starkly plain, so much that it makes people wonder how this world of ours could still hold people so untarnished. With all the doubts surrounding her, we suited answers. The mature may say you should learn to reconcile, understand. You can't settle it all yourself. Then strive to do all you can. The slime may say you should follow the flow. That resistance makes pains, and it's more worth it to just dive in. The wrathful may say you should go forth with head held high. Eternally unsurrendering, and fight to your life's last end. The timid may say you should seclude back in the mountains and forests, return to your own monastery, and forget all such tumult. The right answer? There is no right answer. What there are only choices. We look forward to the choices Saga makes. Now to see what her module looks like. Walk the world. Good sir, may I ask of thee a ladeful of water to drink? Here, not too much now. If you drink that whole ladle, all my effort today is gone to waste. Mayst thou explain? On this mountain-shown side are 3,000 mu of fertile fields, but in its shade 30,000 ching of lake water. But Mount Mang stands straight in between, rising to the clouds, cragged and long, troubling even file to cross. The ceilings need water, so I have no choice but to draw water from the north side to irrigate the fields in the south, and I have only the single ladle to use. Hence, why thou makest such arduous journeys in the unending succession. But until when, whilst thou bear this ladle? Well asked, until when? So replied the old man as he sat down on a mountain boulder, letting out a sigh. Ah, then allow me to help thee, good sir. You would? I have given it some thought, and believe that what thou hast said to be wholly reasonable. Were its spade at hand, thou wouldst find a canal to dig through, Mount Mang, from the north to south. Wert thou of arts that could shift towering earth, thou wouldst employ such powers to move the mountain, and let lake and field border one another. Yet at hand thou hast but a ladle, so scooping water turn by turn be'st thine only option. A task faces thee, and a tool is at thy hand. As it must be done, so one is bade to do all they can. 'Tis as such, but the fields that way are so wide and one cannot gaze to their end. And the trail over Mount Mang is so perilous and winding. One loses their way in the fog. You may be decades younger than my decrepit self, but what could you accomplish even giving the rest of your life? I seek not to be able to irrigate the fertile fields, should I walk the mountain path once. That is one refinement of my spirit. I have to sneeze. Okay, One sneeze. Bleh. I seek not to be able to irrigate the fertile fields. Should I walk the mountain path once, that is one refinement of my spirit. To pour a ladleful of water is but the fortune to do so, and more, the ladle thou gavest me in kindness was destiny in turn. I am young and hale, and my pace quick. 'Tis only natural that I help here. So spoken, with more than half the ladle still filled, Saga took it into her steady hands, and turned and went for the mountain's shade. Truly, what a fool! A gust of wind blew by, cloud and ink scattering. The mountain path long and unending, and all trace of the old man had vanished. Foolish and naive, but devout and sincere, she can go where she wishes. Aw. That's pretty cute then. I'm assuming that was Dusk being like, wow, look at this weirdo. I like her. And now to go to Lin. But yeah, I think I can do Dusk. It's like early enough in the night. I have my room all to myself for now. Still sad I gotta share a room until what, like next week? Basic info. Codename Lin. Gender female. Combat experience 7 years. Wait, I missed the other module? Oh shoot, I didn't realize she had another module. Wait. Oh, yeah, she did have another one. Somehow I only saw this one. Not the where to find the burden beast. My eyes completely missed that one. Basic information. Tepid breaths caress her face, and a familiar view begins to come into focus. Returning to her senses, all that surrounds her is no different than how she recalls it. The burden beast carved of wood by her fellow disciple still leans against the old camphor tree. A little black tusk beast pressed against it, polishing its tusks. The rough frayed strands of the bamboo's hat's brim brush past her forehead, carrying the familiar smell of damp fiber. Saga is mentally startled. For the monk who paces before her is none other than her head priest. She hurriedly gathers her mind and corrects her posture, but her stiff back forbids her from standing up fully straight. When she first ascended the mountain, the young Saga reached only to the head of the priest's shoulders in height, and now she is stooped and decrepit by the weight of 100 springs, rain showers, and 100 autumns, falling leaves, and once again stands no taller than her head priest's shoulders. Head priest, this humble servant of... The old head priest seems to pay no mind to what she has to say, and simply twists his head, signaling to her to move her legs, then unceremoniously thrusts out a mop. She can only drag her heavy legs, trembling shakily as she avoids it, while stammering in her perplexity. The mop's handle, Saga recognizes. It is the wooden pole with which the head priest fought her in the past. Only, for some unknown reason, it is now wrapped in cloth and given a new life, cleaning floors. This foolish disciple is ashamed, yet I still have doubts for which I must seek answers. I travel on the outside, and it has been a century at present, yet here and now, it seems to grow ever indistinct. When I first ascended, I had thought clarity and sense to be given for all things, and indeed the realm abounded, such that it eluded me. But in every place, all still had answer to seek. And so, in the scrolls of Master Dusk, did I linger for 10 turns of the year, and still felt naught but wonder. Yet afterwards, that sense of which I believed in lost all sense. The more I saw, the more I felt that the people and the matters of the realm were all the same single cloth. Our lives in the realm are no more than a mirror, perhaps reflecting oneself or others. With color then drawn from every part, that paints itself over the figure in the mirror, to mend, to make up, and no more. People paint that mirror full, so dense that no light passes. and believe they comprehend good and evil through veracity and falsity. I sought knowledge and pursued learning for a century, and here in the end, I ask thee, lookest within the bag of my travels, and see all I've obtained is dirtied mirrors. I do not understand. If the state of the realm is all but so, then where can reason still be found? Only once Saga has finished speaking, does the old head priest cease his handiwork and lift his head to answer. If you are a burden beast, then you can find it. Thus, he ends, and without waiting for a further remark from her, he raises the mop and strikes straight for her face. It is afternoon when Saga awakes from her dream with a start. Screwing her eyes, she finds it was the burden beast she was traveling with, licking at her face with its rough tongue out of impatience. Very well, let us go. What a dream. I thought it was interesting how Saga's records are just like, oh, she's too pure for this world. I'm like, gosh darn it, mountain people. Like, heck, since we were talking about Aoho earlier, I'm like, Saga and our boy Sojiro. Gotta love them pure mountain folk. And now for Lin. Basic info. Codename Lin. Gender female. Combat experience 7 years. Place of birth Lungmen. Date of birth November 9. Race Zalak. Height 166 centimeters. Infection status. Medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Okay, since we know who her dad is, I want to know what Mama looks like. Physical exam. Physical strength standard. Mobility excellent. Physical resilience standard. Tactical acumen standard. Combat skill excellent. Originium arts assimilation outstanding. Dang, look at her being outstanding rather than excellent. She's built different. Profile, Lin. Full name, Lin Yusia. Is a Lungmanite. Her occupation remains unclear, and her file remains equally suspect, owing to how little information she provided. After the human incident came to an end, she proposed to Rhodes Island the formation of a formal cooperative agreement, and she now assists Rhodes Island with its treatment of the infected populace in Lungmen. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules had not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. True, since your father can't control sands. Though, I can see that being excellent. I still want to know what Mama's like. Like, if only we could have seen the Mamas in this game more often. Still Originium assimilation, 0%. Operator Lin shows no sign of Originium infection. Blood Originium crystal density, 0.12. Operator Lin rarely comes into contact with Originium. Sometimes protecting yourself is more than something to be aware of. It's a kind of wisdom. Archive File 1. The President of Lungmen Young Entrepreneurs Association, Special Guest Lecturer of Social Studies at the Lungmen Union University, one of the Lungmen Federation of Enterprises rotating spokesman, consultant to the Lungmen Market Regulation Authority. All these titles do indeed appear on Lin Yusia's curriculum vitae. Girl, what complicated titles, like dang. With a file like hers, of course we can't play dumb either. Although we've never had any direct contact with him, we have a general understanding of what a dangerous person Lin Gray is. Although he's always looked out for Rhodes Island whenever we make indirect contact, his daughter has now come directly to us to propose the establishment of a channel to facilitate trading medicine between the slums and Rhodes Island. and even considered having a station medical operators there while bypassing official channels. Yeah, I know, right? There's a pattern when it comes to parents. You only see one, whether it's father or mother. It's such a tease. Like, it makes you wonder what the other parents like. This is on a whole other level. It was a letter from Operator Chen that finally made us agree to this headache of a cooperation agreement. Disregarding some of the passages that lean more toward her personal feelings, the letter's message is clear. As an individual, she personally trusts Miss Lin Yuxia, and as an operator, she recommends that Rhodes Island accept this invitation. Trust can be betrayed, but not mutual interest, and when it comes to the treatment of the infected, Rhodes Island and I share the same interests. Miss Lin Yuxia gave us this frank explanation in our cooperation. Regardless, Rhodes Island's standpoint as a medical company and its contradictory ideal of working towards solving the infected problem will not change. Just as she said, we currently have no reason to refuse. Oh right, if she says anything about mutual interest and trust, just ignore all that. She can be pretty shy. Chen notes at the end of her letter. Archive File 2. As Miss Lin is not stationed aboard Rhodes Island, our meetings with her are limited to our mutual business dealings. To Miss Lin, there's nothing contradictory about being a fair, responsible partner while also keeping information from her collaborators. We can always have faith in her ability to handle all sorts of affairs. She helps us sign highly advantageous business contracts at an extremely efficient pace, as well as removing without a trace certain enemies who harangue us. When probed, she also refused to tell us how exactly she handled these problems. To an organization like Rhodes Island, a partnership like this isn't going to last. However, not only did Chen vouch for her, Swire, the current LGD superintendent, also continues to have a tacit trust in Miss Lin. Swire may always say, "I'll personally arrest Miss Lin one day." That's merely something she says. Evidently, the three of them have a close relationship, but they also never see each other aboard Rhodes Island. A peculiar relationship that piques all onlookers' interest. All things considered, as long as Rhodes Island's core objective remains the same, we can maintain our mutual trust and partnership. Indeed, this is how we generally operate with most other operators, and many of them go on to become true allies fighting toward the same goal. Let us trust her for the time being. Okay, both of them have a record. I wonder how long the records are. Maybe. I gotta see how busy it's gonna be later on this week since... Just cause I'm not gonna have my room to myself. Classified log. What is this document? Information? These are the records of each and every infected Rhodes Island has come across in the Lungmen slums the last couple of years, their health condition afterwards, and their current social credit reports, and the transaction records of every uropathy-related medication that Rhodes Island sells in Lungmen. This is the reason I made Rhodes Island this partnership offer. You mean, you've been paying close attention to us ever since that incident? It's a necessary precaution, and it's also to make sure nothing like that happens in Lungmen ever again. You understand the consequences your information could bring, which is why I made sure that no one else could possibly get their hands on any of it when I was gathering it. In that case, why are you handing this over to Rhodes Island now? To show my sincerity. Again, I gotta say that's a maybe for now. There's Archive File 3. Even before she signed on as a Rhodes Island operator, we'd already been familiar with the name Lin Yuxia. Our indirect dealings with her, as well as all the secrets we've heard from our sources, also more or less painted the image of her as a tried leader. Yet it was only when we finally met Miss Lin in the flesh on board Rhodes Island we found out that she was not quite the dangerous, gloomy person we imagined her to be. On the contrary, most operators who have worked with her tell us that she is very easy to get along with. There was even one who, unaware of all the details, mistook her for medical staff from a Lungmen hospital. Indeed, outside of work, Lin never makes shows of force, and she is very well versed in etiquette when interacting with others. Compared to her Longmanite compatriots, the ever-meticulous Chen and the swift and decisive Officer Swire, Lin instead appears calm and composed. And she's often praised as a perfect embodiment of the elegance and dignity that foreign operators attribute to the Jannies. That said, her self-control and politeness may also have inadvertently distanced her from others even more. Occasionally, Miss Lin Yuxia also displays an awe-inspiring expertise in the arts. Specifically, this includes her skills in Jannie's calligraphy and painting, her unique viewpoints on interior design, as well as her mastery of tea ceremony, which eclipses even that of Li. Wow, good for her! The glassware she crafts with her originium arts are all produced to the highest standards in both detail and design. Of course, to know all this about her, you would have had to build a certain level of rapport with her. If you're lucky enough and just so happen to have the opportunity to have conversation with her while she is free, you will certainly be astounded by her deep knowledge of Jannie's art history. The devotion and confidence she exudes as she discusses such topics show that she did not hone her techniques and elegance merely for mingling in social settings. She truly loves them. Given all this, we can't help but wonder, if she had never become the Lin she is now, what sort of person would she have become? Archive File 4. When Lin Yuxia chose her codename at Rhodes Island, she asked, What's Jianhui Chie's codename here? After getting her answer, she pondered briefly before writing Lin down in the form. From what we understand about Longmen, the name Lin no doubt carries significant weight in the slums. Although very few have met the Rat King, or Lin Grey, in the flesh, the name itself is the embodiment of his order. And now, Miss Lin had chosen to inherit that name. We learned of the human incident, and it's just from operators Waifu and Li's testimony. Based on this, we're certain that the commotion will have little direct effect on Rose Island or Lungmen, and thus, Miss Lin approaching us at this timing is more likely to be of her own personal decision. Although no doubt there are deeper motivations to it, we won't dig any further. From the start, Miss Lin's goal in forming a partnership with Rose Island could not have been clearer. The infected problem is one of the main issues that the Lungmen slums face, but that is not the whole picture. My father built the slums in the first place because he hoped it would become something like a hazmat suit to Lungmen. But a lot of men out there want the slums to become an airtight bag instead. As guests that have resided in Lungmen for some years now, we have a decent idea of many of the complicated and deeply rooted contradictions that Miss Lin often speaks of. But regardless of the circumstances, she's always faithfully adhered to her promise and never involved Rose Island in problems unrelated to Earpathy. On a certain level, given that we walk the same path, or at the very least, we are business partners that share the same goal. We've caught glimpses of her downplayed attitude as she dealt with the mafias who ignore the law of the land, her chilling aura as she negotiated with the Chamber of Commerce, and the profound grief she's shown as she discussed the problems of the slums face. That is more than enough for us to cast aside our suspicions and work wholeheartedly toward the common goal. Where there is light, there's also shadow. This is the unchanging truth. Just as there are those who stand in the light and use their authority to deny the existence of shadows, there are those who walk into the shadows in an attempt to light a lantern. And this is exactly the reason. She truly belongs in the city. Promotion record. Yuxia, tell me, what do you see? A bustling night market, crowds of wandering foodies, people going home after work. They're the fruits of your decades of labor. When I was still a kid, no one would dare to keep their stores open at this hour. At least your memory's not bad. You said you wanted to take over for me. If you mean it, remember everything you see before you. Are you telling me this is all my responsibility? We have thousands of households who want only a peaceful life and career, and tens of thousands who need to be protected. Each and every one of them is a part of Lungmen. The same goes for you and for me. Remember this. Duties and people are never to be put on the same scale. Sometimes, it's easy to forget that when you stand at the top for too long. That's why I brought you to the stall for Dyuye tonight, where it's closest to the common people. I want you to take a good look around. And here, I thought you wanted a cheat meal after the diet the doctor put you on. Seoi, Neoi. I get it. I've been seeing this scene for 2 decades myself. This is where my roots are. I'll remember. That is pretty nice, though. Teaching her about, like, the common folk by taking her out there. It's like, well, you gotta mingle here. You can't just keep a distance, you gotta experience it yourself. It's legit. Oh, this is pretty, the exquisite heart. Look at that hourglass. And the crystals. Wow. So pretty. Mingle no matter how single. Exquisite heart. The night is giving way, and the street lamps are going out one by one. The only light left hangs in front of the food cart on the side of the street, swaying and flickering, steam drifting up beneath it. The vendor sits by his wok, face hidden behind the steam. He sees a customer in the distance and stands to raise himself up a little. You haven't been by in forever, miss. I'm finally freed up. You're a busy person. I see you passing through the street every day, but you never sit yourself down here. 1 bowl of cart noodles, oil noodles, curry base, 2 thin balls atop. Got it. Man, I'd want a commission, Lin. The customer picks herself a spot close to the stovetop and leisurely seats herself. The cart vendor turns around, stooped over like a finch stranded on land. He ladles out soup to boil the noodles and chops up the meat, movements fluid and natural. You're still open so late. Looks like business is good. All by grace of the Rat King. Well, used to be. Now it's by yours. Miss. Back when I was apprenticing, no one would dare open at this hour. Is your medicine still enough? I got ways to buy it, and I've never dared stop. I'll get sick if I'm not careful, and that'll be a hassle for you. No, look after yourself. If you do fall sick, that's far more hassle for you than me. It's out of you and your father's hands. I picked my life back up. The fact that you sit here to eat noodles means that you think enough of me. My dad's goal has always been for everyone to live good lives. Thump. With the rhythm of the kitchen knife and chopping board lands a heavy muffled noise, promptly breaking off the subject. Sorry to scare you, miss. The new smith here does shoddy work. There used to be a smith next door, went by, Cleaver's Leong. The knives he sharpened cut fast and shone light, lovely to use. What happened to him? Died 5 years ago, he did. 5 years, and people still think about him. He must have been a good man. Not all that good. You count him. But he never held back, never changed his mind. He made one mistake, that's all it took. A very serious mistake to make. You and the Rat King both see right through us. You're smart. Us people below, we're dumb, sometimes unwise. You'll be needing to teach us a long time more, miss. You listen to me still? I thank you that you didn't ask how he died, miss. You still blame me. I've said it already. My life comes from out of your hands. No sense in the blame game. Your noodles are done, miss. The vendor carefully carries the bowl over to the customer and doesn't move away after setting it down. He stands and watches her devour the noodles clean, mouthful by mouthful. After she's done, she pulls the cash out from her bag and places it on the counter. No need for change. The streets are tricky at night. Take your time, miss. No need to worry. I can see clearly. No, you better be careful. Us little folk, we need you. We need someone to follow. It's late. Go on home, miss. I don't have the guts to blame you, but I just want to ask one thing. If right now you were back then, would you still do the same thing? I would. I'm here now so that Lungmin never goes through anything like that again. Lin is surprisingly... Well, actually, no, not surprisingly. She is pretty sweet. Truly an exquisite heart. But man, out of these operators so far, the one whose records interest me the most so far has been Greenbuds. This Between having a high affinity arts plus you are infected, this art already high affinity arts go further beyond in power. Or peak body condition like Breaker or Chen, when you're infected, it does not boost you in any way since you don't have any arts affinity. Or you're in peak condition. Ooh. You know, between, having a peak body condition or high affinity arts, I'm gonna choose the high affinity arts. Just because I don't mind working on myself. Like, it's okay if I'm not already in peak condition. It is what it is, but the marts though. The marts would be extra nice. Like, that would be cool. Super cool. And now I stare a bit at your operators. I'm so curious. Like, don't mind me just scrolling a tiny bit. Eehehehe. Oh no, I don't have all her modules right now. Like, the modules are kind of a pain. Especially since it's forcing me to actually raise some other operators. Like, one of them you have to use, I think, Vanguards to fight. And I only have like a couple raised, so I failed. I failed really bad, but it's okay, And hey, hello. Ooh, fried chicken and mac and cheese with sausage and mashed potatoes. Oh, that sounds so good. That sounds delicious. Oh man, I can be good and actually start raising with some of my other people later on. I can be semi-good. Or heck, even without the modules, I can still do some of the others, like just their stories. Which saves some time too. Can always just go back to them afterwards. So that kind of works out. So if I do it that way... Or let's see, I'll show you how my operators are right now first. So don't mind me, just gonna boop. Okay, time to steer. Let's see how this goes. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh yeah. We already saw her records, you're right.
Arknights.
Well, even if I can't get her modules, or if I can't, at least I'll have Zhongyue. Or wait, there. Oops. Still here, baby. Just gotta scroll a tiny bit. For example, look at this fella. Gosh darn it, unlocking those though, At the very least I have this information so we can look at that. So I can go for him instead. Like, it's okay if we can't see the modules right now. So hello, Chongyue. Beautiful sir. Basic info. Yep. For what's available. Basic info, codename Chongyue. Gender male. Combat experience undisclosed. Place of birth Yan. Date of birth January 1st. Race undisclosed. Height 188 centimeters. Tallest person so far tonight. Infection status. Medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam. Physical strength excellent. Mobility excellent. Physical resilience standard. Tactical acumen outstanding. Combat skill beep. Originium art simulation flawed. Profile. Chongyue, the elder brother of the landship residents Nian, Dusk, and Ling. He has a close relationship with government organizations such as the Yanese Ministry of War and the Sui Regulator. Previously served as a martial arts instructor at the Nomadic City Yumen, a position which he had resigned from. He came to Rhodes Island to visit his family, and after a round of audits, he is temporarily residing onboard the landship as a visitor. Chongyue possesses rich combat experience and has provided Rhodes Island with his unique combat suggestions. However, as requested by Dr. Kelsey, Chongyue rarely participates in missions directly. Oh, that'd be interesting seeing Chongyue and Nian sparring. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear, normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules had not been detected in the circulatory system, and there's no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation 0%. Blood originium crystal density 0.01. Gotta say, since we had cases like Dusk and Ling before, I put in tons of prep work for Chongyue's medical examination. Hell, I pulled a couple of people off of work just for this, and that's just the theoretical research guys at medical. It's not often we get the chance, so I figured I'd collect biological data that could have research value. Chongyue was very amenable to the whole thing, but the results were kind of disappointing. True. All the values are terrifyingly high, but it's just a normal guy's body. You can tell he trains a lot. It's too normal. Wow. How should I describe it? Like, you make an account in a game, then you grind for hours on end, day after day, to get to level cap. It's amazing, but come on! I'm trying to make cheats here, you know? Closure, what the heck? True, they're so healthy. It's amazing. Archive File 1. Chongyue's routine is frightening. He wakes up at dawn for a morning practice, exercising his breathing as well as the kung fu basics, such as legs, waist, and shoulders. Then for 4 hours in the middle of the day, he familiarizes himself with a variety of weapons and analyzes martial arts techniques. At dusk, he finishes his evening tasks, cultivates his foundations, and writes as well as keeps his martial arts records. And he does so every single day without fail. That is amazing. Oh yeah, I'm actually tempted for Uma Musume. I'm just thinking when I'd want to try it though. Cause I see there's like a cute blue-haired horse that I kind of want. The problem here is that ever since he agreed to become our interim martial arts instructor, this has become everyone's routine. The key to success in Kung Fu can be summed up in one word: diligence. According to his explanation, in addition to training your body, practicing Kung Fu is more about training your mind and perseverance. I understand the logic, of course. I'm simply complaining. After all, the prospect of learning the legendary divine style is alluring. To tell the truth, though I still have some reservations about the authenticity of the human showdown. Accounts that Waifu gave us, how the winds and sand raged, the sky's colors changed, and how two masters rivaled by none in the world battled and settled their score in less than 10 rounds. If I had heard this from Mr. Nothing, I'd definitely write it off as a tall tale, perhaps. It just goes to show how we still have much to learn about Yanese martial arts. Aside from Yanese operators, Chongyue also sees many operators from other regions, such as Ursus and Sargon, attending his martial arts lectures. But when his students talk to each other in private, they seem to all have noticed in his lectures traces of the styles they already know, as well as perhaps the theory behind the moves and the methodology he applies force with. It's all very vague, but his methodology is simpler and more powerful. There are only two possibilities. One would be that Chongyue is a prodigy. He's seen more than half of Yan's martial arts styles, and even those of other countries, and has improved upon them. The other would be that he's a prodigy, and has been to many places, and many of the styles are based on his. I digress. How could that even be possible? Oh, the story's pretty good. Oh, it's not bad. I know my Umas would be kind of cursed because I'd want to focus mainly on speed. Speed and maybe some like stamina. Otherwise, all the other stats are just gonna be questionable. In any case, Chongyue might be even stricter than Instructor Doberman. Fortunately, Nyan all of a sudden roped him into acting as a stunt coordinator for a movie series she's prepping. Come to think of it though, in private, Chongyue is actually a rather kind person. He's not as difficult to figure out as Ling or as high-strung as Dusk. Just talking about this makes me miss his lessons. Archive File 2. When Chongyue first came to Rhodes Island, most operators who'd heard of his background and exploits were under the impression that the Grandmaster who defended Yan's northern deserts for years must be a strict, stuffy man, and thus avoided him. This lasted until a certain operator was pestered by the library to return an overdue book, and subsequently found out that the man who had reserved homesick blues next was Chongyue. Thereafter, we inadvertently stumbled upon his many other interests: wood carving, pottery, literature, coffee. Ooh, coffee! A few clubs figured they would give it a shot and sent Chongyue an invitation to their events. And most of them received a reply, "I'll be there on time," which only gave the event planners anxiety. Chongyue's knowledge of the world outside the desert is actually very rich. He even shows considerable interest in the ever-changing pop culture all across the lands. At first, we thought he agreed to participate in Nyan's movie because of brotherly love for his sister, but thinking back, perhaps he's actually interested in the workmanship and technology that go into filmmaking. It's worthy mentioning that Chongyue is very quick to learn. After only 2 months with the crew, he already had the basic understanding of technologies, such as how traditional film develops, and the digital encoding and storage used in new films. Even though he is receiving training at a professional organization, he is learning at a shockingly fast pace. Aw, that's nice. You think the only one that rivals Yan in terms of bountifulness is Sargon? Rainforests, desert treasures. Ooh, true. And over here is where I was. Perhaps we should put this another way. Chongyue may be a respected, awe-inspiring grandmaster in both military and martial arts studies, but he is a willing, diligent student in other subjects. When this is brought up, a few of our younger operators thought nothing strange of this. There are tons of elders who can keep up with young people's topics these days. Maybe someone else is behind the times. Archive File 3, Classified Log. Closures asked me this plenty of times already. My dear eldest brother can't do anything over the top like melt things down as he pleases like me. Nor does he have any way to just diddle 1,000 years away in a dream like Ling. He's got the body of a normal guy. What do you want from him? I don't know why, they just sound so like, It's like, what kind of things can your brother do? Can he do amazing stuff? Nah, he's just a normal guy. Look at his body. Oh, I just remembered something funny that I should really tell you. He's been inside Dusk's paintings before. A long time ago, he went to pay her a visit. She was too scared to see him, but she still had to, so right? You're pretty good, smart, aren't you? Dusk drew the mountain she was in, the shack of hers, and herself, all exactly the same. Dusk showed him her latest and greatest paintings, took him on a magnificent journey to tons of amazing sights, an exquisite palace that stretches far into the air beyond the cliff, without collapsing, land beasts crawling out across lotuses, mere inches wide to cross a great river, and a mountain full of rusted weapons on an old battlefield that have yet to wear away even after 1,000 years. Then, she had to listen to him drone on for over an hour about how she shouldn't wallow in her inkscapes, and even tried to persuade her to go to the frontier fortress with him like Ling. Just constant nagging like that. I would not say normal necessarily. Just because, holy cow, a strict schedule. Like, nah. Most people would not do that. That ain't normal. He is dedicated. Like, sure, he doesn't have super duper magical abilities, but you don't need that when you like peak like this. So all in all, he spent an entire day and night in that painting with that dusk. Then at daybreak, he tidied up all the open scrolls there and went on his morning practice. He executed a few sets, then boom, the fog settles and the sun rises, and the painting's torn to shreds. Outside the painting, the mountain and the shack were the same as before. Of course, Dusk's dour face too, haha. Huh? When he figured it out, he probably knew right from the start. The way he put it, who wouldn't recognize their own sister? As for why he had to wait a whole day and night, Dusk thought he was taking her for a ride. She can be immature like that. The way I see it, he was playing along with her wishes and cheering her up. So how did he bring out the painting? Obviously, he stayed calm and paid attention to the tiniest details. Perhaps this is the sublimity that Kung Fu folks like to talk about? I mean, why else do you think he loves human technique so much? Instead of using martial arts to refute the old man's existence, it might be more fitting to say that he used it to attain ultimate self-affirmation. It is through martial arts that he has found the answer to the question, who am I? As for how he separated from the old man and molded that body of his, how am I supposed to know? Not like I was gonna learn from him. But now that the basket of blunders had figured out the trick behind it, he's bound to stir up trouble sooner or later. When the time comes, I sure hope our eldest brother will teach him a good lesson. Alright, now sign this form for the camera equipment. Equipment rental. Otherwise, that's all I'm gonna tell you. Archive File 4, Classified Log. The Grandmaster has defended Human for years, and all of Yan is eternally grateful for his efforts. Likewise, the Sui Regulator would like to express our sincerest gratitude to your company for accepting him aboard your landship for recuperation. Now that his years of accumulated stress have caught up to him and forced him to retire from his post, we understand that Nian, Dusk, and Ling are also aboard Rhodes Island. These three are equally as important to Yan as the Grand Master, and we ask your company to give all relevant matters the most appropriate treatment. Official correspondence from the Yanese Sui Regulator discovered moments before Nian set it on fire in her furnace. Retirement. When I first heard our eldest brother utter the word, I was still human. He has been busy these many years, and far beyond human. Wars in the north, pirates in the south, wheresoever the court doth wish him to be, there he will be. All of us siblings, he was the first to abhor violence. He remains the closest to violence. He's made acquaintance of many an interesting fellow. Yet the more he meets, the lonelier he becomes. The affairs of man are chaotic. Is this the fault of war, or is it not? Retirement has ever been on his mind, and the court has likewise guaranteed him one. Yet many springs and autumns have come and gone, while I wakened from my drunken stupor, and still he awaited a more opportune moment. 'Twas in part the court's apprehensions, in part his own, and his long wish now fulfilled. As siblings we must rejoice. But is he truly free? Over these long years, too closely bound by ties to the military, he has become the Sui Regulator, the Ministry of Rights, the Ministry of War, many eyes in the court, and few will wish to see him a hermit. Moreover, with days numbered, Ya has returned to Yan, and with the sounds of war during that hunt 1,000 years ago yet to cease, its awakening can only draw ever closer. Perhaps there is something else aside from that basket of blunders pulling strings behind the curtain. By nature, we siblings love this mortal realm, and none of us wish to return to chaos. But this does not concern my eldest brother. Nay, he is no longer Shuo, and has not been for some time. And thus, he loves its realm more than any of us. After all, Chongyue belongs to the mortal realm. Ah, never mind. 'Tis nothing worth minding. When the water is turbid, let it be until it clears. When the water boils, Take off the lid. Am I scared? What is there to be scared of? When you sober up, raise another flask. Right. Do not trouble yourself going to him. While he's aboard Rhodes Island, let him enjoy his retirement. Promotion record. A beast lets a whistle shrill. The mist folds, part halo clear. It takes its numbers first. Came so hence all would form. Blend to bond, leaks past scales. Body unbroken, hue. It hastes yet grasp eludes. Light sinks, earth war to seek. What seals to bid, who's dark. What parts to bid, Ming's light. Its gaze goes far. The day fly feeble there. What shudders granite strikes. The skills of common man. What lengths or limits stretch. This arm it strives to vessel make. Beep, corpse, beep. Self-same fight, beep. Milled for, and highness one, like heaven changed with earth. Its grief is marked, man strifes in such extents. Such war should come to halt. Thus quest, it has and will, clouds rent and haze begone. In universe left soul. While the cause is unclear, a portion of the characters midway through the rubbing of this inscription are indistinct and difficult to discern. Reportedly, Sui regulator scholars have devoted themselves to long-term restorative work, with headway already made. Oh man, I hope they're not forced to return to chaos. Like, no! I like how the siblings are all just doing their own things. Even Sussy brother. And now, once upon a time, I wandered afar. He's always been here, but does he truly belong here? Poke. Stare. Keep going. You've only a few more shovel loads to go. And you'll merely stand and watch? As the saying goes, be a passive observer. I'd love to help you, but I'm sure you remember how my arm got hurt? Very well.
General, I'm the one you requested. What took you so long? The locals are all celebrating the news of our victory. A number of inns are booked out, and every last one is short on staff. The streets are lined with their delivery burden beasts. I had to work as a waiter for half a day, and then help them unload their wares before I could make it back. In addition to fighting gallantly in the battlefield, a human soldier must always be prepared to help the local citizens. Fine work. Thank you, General.
Let me see.
Knife edge. 5 bowls. Bridges, narrow crossed. And a jar of husong from Jiangnan. Master Zuo, you mustn't use official business as an excuse to let these fine wines go to waste again. Naturally. Greetings, Grandmaster. Good work. Brother Dajiang. I simply did what I should have.
The officer stops pushing the cart loaded with wine and lifts his head to scan the courtyard in front of him. Shingan Bladesmiths, the most reputable bladesmiths in Yumen. The patrol battalion contracted them to produce much of their military equipment. Its owner, Meng Tieyi, is also a good friend of both the Lord Exorcist and the Grand Master. On days when they're off duty from the garrison, they often gather at the workshop with warriors from all over to spar, drink, and share stories. He too comes every now and then, but something is different about the courtyard here today. A few dozen bricks by the gate have been removed, and an old pagoda tree has been planted in the resulting pit. With its branches extending in all directions, it has taken up a considerable amount of space in the courtyard. The tree's trunk is as wide as 2 lovers sharing an embrace. The grooves on its bark are lightly covered in small grains of sand and coarse like an old man's palm.
Look at this old pagoda tree. It must have been at least 100 years old. Yet it was so hastily replanted in this dramatic city. Who can even say whether it will manage to adjust to the climate here? Surely it's better than your habit of carving your achievements into it, like the warriors of old, is it not? The worst thing you can do to an old tree is harm its bark. If we left it in there in the sands, it could very well wither away. True enough. It was our heroine that came up with the idea of bringing it here. I can already picture her throwing a fit once she arrives and catches you harping on about that. Besides, a tree is not much different from a man. Having survived in the desert for so long, we mustn't underestimate its vigor. And with Yi taking care of it, no doubt we have a whole tree's worth of new leaves to shade ourselves under by this time next year. You're right about that.
All of you just love giving me more work to do, don't you?
I should never have let you bring that tree. All the sunlight glaring down on me must have stolen my wits. There are nothing but forges and weapons here. Adding a touch of life isn't such a bad idea, is it? Forget it. There's no arguing with any of you. Oh, the wine is here. Perfect. The food is ready too. The tree's been planted, yes. Come on, let's head inside. Then I shall be taking my leave, General, Grandmaster, Master Meng. Please excuse me. Why in such a hurry? Because this is a gathering for gentlemen of your stature. Your General Zuo has yet to award you for your achievements. He wouldn't have had you purchase his alcohol without intending to let you join in the celebration. The Grandmaster's right. Okay. Then I'll carry the wine in for now.
That's kind of cute. He's just like, oh my goodness, I'm invited to this party. Yay.
Huh? How could the moons in the sky be so much brighter, so much higher than the pagoda tree? How bizarre! Yi, you've had too much to drink. Your eyes are deceiving you. Had too much to drink? No, no, no. The night is so young. Why do you think I always set aside some wine when I forge my blades? A single gulp can increase the strength of my hammer. Strikes threefold. Lord Exorcist, as a general of the human army, no one here can best you when it comes to leading an army, but when it comes to alcohol and kung fu, oh really now? Keep going. What was that about my kung fu? Was I not at the very front line when we pursued the bandits in the forest? Both the enemies I vanquished, and the scars on my body may well outnumber yours. Oh? Look upon my left arm. This injury, just half a cun deeper, and it would have cut into my meridians. Stop rolling up your sleeves, Lord Exorcist. Perhaps you should have a look at the wound on my back, which I took for you, need I remind you.
These drunken old men. You see these scars? And they're just like slowly stripping. Check this scar out. Now this scar. Centurion's like, oh gosh, why did I agree to go into this party?
What time is it? It is the hour of 2, Grandmaster.
The workshop's meeting room is packed with people, and there are a number of tables between the officer and the Grandmaster. He raises his voice, but has no way of knowing whether it has been heard. The floor is lined with rows and rows of empty jugs. And the more there are, the rowdier the crowd gets. A drunken loudmouth arena champion and a human general injured in a bout against a practitioner of the martial arts. The officer tries to recall how they looked on the battlefield earlier in the day, only to be reminded of how inebriated he is.
Why ask the time? Are you drunk?
Your alcohol tolerance is no match for that sister of yours. The voice is melodious and crystal clear, yet the words it carries cannot be more casual. The officer can tell it belongs to the heroine, who often sits by the Grandmaster's side. He has no idea when she joined the celebrations. She is sitting opposite the Grandmaster this time, so he can only see her from behind. No one knows what she came to Human for. All they know is that she is on the very friendly terms with the Grandmaster, the Lord Exorcist, and Master Meng. Supposedly, she and the Grandmaster had a friendly bout together. It takes a fight to truly know one another, or so it is often claimed, and stayed afterwards. All his brothers in the squad have sparred with her. They usually have nothing but good things to say about her, too. Her swordsmanship, her alcohol tolerance, her carefree and straightforward personality, and just how likable she is overall. But as luck would have it, he's never even gotten to see what she looks like. He finds himself curious and stands up, but the armed escort sitting next to him notices his empty bowl and fills it with wine.
You mean Ling? Ah yes, the two of you met last time she ventured here. She's always awake within her dreams and befuddled without. Drunken or not, it matters to her not one whit.
Look at you rambling again. So you really are drunk. We lost quite a few men to this battle, and just about everyone who made it back is injured in some way.
Right.
There's a question I've been meaning to ask you. To go 100 battles without suffering a single wound, he must be far, far too good at kung fu. And your name, too, Shuo. What does it mean? Who is a single word for their name anyway? Rather than a person's name, it sounds more like an alias.
Another baby sister of mine gave it to me.
I've heard of names given by parents, by elders, by teachers, and even by fortune tellers. But by your sister? And younger at that? That hardly makes any sense.
That's just how things are between us siblings. It's a long story. Look at you, Grandmaster. You've had too much to drink.
And now you're helping him dodge the question. You know what? Never mind.
In that case, would any of you care to grant me a proper name befitting a person? Grandmaster? General Zuo, given the celebratory mood, wouldn't you agree that there is no better time? Very well then. Ever since the Human Arena Board of Fame was established, the top of the list has always been left blank. The whole city knows whose name goes there, and even I, second place on the list, can't last 10 moves against you. Your kung fu is unparalleled. How about we name you Woody, the Invulnerable?
Imagine if his name was Woody instead. Sup, Woody? I mean, Invulnerable is pretty cool of a name, though.
Listen to yourself. Does it sound like a proper name to you? If we must give him a name, it has to be Dinglan, meaning smooth tides, representing the peace and tranquility it's brought our citizens.
Or they could be both. He can be Woody Dinglan. I don't know why. I'm entertained by that.
Or perhaps, Onkong, Tranquil Blue.
Not sure the sleeping works for Ling.
What is this, poetry club? I can barely make sense of either of them.
Red-faced armed escort.
Let's call him Jiang Jun.
Hey, hello, hello.
Remember the moves he showed us last time? When his fist landed on me, it felt like it weighed 1,000 tons.
Red-eared staff officer.
No, it should be Qingyan for clear skies.
They frown. The Lord Exorcist, the workshop owner, everyone in attendance frowns and winks. The men's gaze is all out on him. Halfway done with his cup of wine, the officer sits it down.
Grandmaster. Brother Dajiang, do you perhaps have a suggestion? Where I'm from, we name our children after whatever our eyes happen to land on. I never had an education. I can't help you much here.
Oh, shut up, all of you. I can't believe you're all racking your brains over this. Let me think. The tall, slender lady stands up. She raises her bowl of wine and walks past the rows of empty jugs and arguing guests. She opens a window, filling the entire room with the night breeze and silencing the attendees' chatter. The twin moons hang in the sky. The night is no longer young, but human. The nomadic fortress never sleeps. In its non-residential districts, the orginium lampposts keep the streets illuminated throughout the night, ensuring visibility at all times of day. In the distance lies a chain of mountains, comfortably asleep. They look as though someone above the clouds had raised their hand and flung down blobs of thick ink. What those mountains look like is the eye of the beholder. But they've always been there. Anyone can see them just by looking up. How about Chongyue? Chongyue. The officer mouths the two syllables a couple of times. He has no idea what they mean, but they certainly sound imposing. It is definitely a far better name than the others that had been proposed so far. This is how he got his name? I love that at the party. He steals a glance at the Grandmaster, who sits not too far away. The man's expression has not changed. But while not overjoyed, his eyes have a glow to them that was not there a few moments ago. He recalls how a decade or so ago, on the day he was first transferred to human, the Grandmaster made an exception and paid the arena a visit. Almost all the newly enlisted men had heard of the legendary Grandmaster, and he certainly did not betray their eager gazes. Thousands of days and nights had come and gone across countless battlefields. Not once has humans marched through the sands come to a halt. 10 years have passed by in the blink of an eye. He knows the Grandmaster's eyes. They never exert power nor radiance. More often, they are calm with an unfamiliar yet comforting aura to those around him. The Grandmaster's always been here, but does he truly belong here? Right now, he has that look in his eyes again, but they also seem somewhat different than usual. Is it the night breeze? Did the wind blow away the sand in his eyes? Or was the wine he bought today really so potent? Can someone really become so emotional over receiving a new name?
Chongyue. Chongyue, perfect! A towering and stable mountain. It stops the sands below and blocks the clouds above. Literary, yet rolls out the tongue well. As expected of our heroine. Humph, pipe down. Since when did she need your help explain the meaning? What a great name. He really captures the Grandmaster's dignified image. I propose another toast to this fine name. To Chongyue. Thank you, everyone.
And just like that. The workshop has closed yesterday, and the owner also forgot to keep the forge fires burning. The morning breeze sweeps through the courtyard and lands in the officer's face, immediately waking him from his wine-induced slumber. His head still hurts, and all he remembers is how they had all raised their wine bowls to celebrate the Grandmaster's new name. Before long, one of the inebriated attendees began to sing a folk song from the barracks, and he teared up after a while. The only other friend we know is Chera. Our lovely rock.
My eyes aren't tricking me, are they?
It had only been a single night, but the old pagoda tree no longer feels out of place. Rather, it is the man standing beneath it whom the officer is surprised to see. He tries to sneak away, only for the man to hear him.
Good morning. You had the day off, if I recall. Why not rest a while longer? I'm used to getting up around this time, and I had too much to drink. I couldn't sleep well. This campaign has lasted year after year, and all of you have played no small part in its ongoing success. Then why are you awake this early, Grandmaster? Or have you stayed up all night? My apologies. There were too many people around last night. I wasn't able to offer you a toast. I just feel that I really need to properly thank you. Thank me? You saved me during our battle a few days ago. During our last battle a few days ago. I was so focused on the bat in front of me, I didn't notice the blade coming at me from behind. You fended it off for me. If it weren't for you, even if I had achieved enough to be granted a promotion, it would only have been for dying gloriously in battle. I'm sure. You don't even remember. If it were at all possible, I would defend every last one of my allies, but the battlefield is a merciless place. There are too many variables, and it is something even I can only dream of achieving. Grandmaster, all of us are prepared when we enlisted and came to human. Of course I'm afraid of dying, but I'm not that afraid of dying. Are you not alive and well right now? As long as you still live, you must treasure your life. Be sure to live until the day you get to return home and be with your family. I won't hide it from you. It's too late for that. I'm about to leave human. Are you being reassigned elsewhere? No, that's not it. Thanks to you, I survived our last battle, but the injury I had before has been acting up a lot these past 6 months. The doctor told me my meridians will never heal up completely. This hand of mine won't be able to hold a blade for much longer. General Zhu has been very understanding. He's already given me permission to leave the army early. Once I finish packing, I'll be able to head home. I'll probably be gone by the end of the month. My old mother is still waiting for me, and I don't have any siblings. I've been in the army for over a decade, and I never had the chance to go home and care for her, not even for a day.
Dang, he's been there that long too.
How can this be? It's nothing really. Even if I won't be able to hold a sword, I can still plow the fields with a hoe. The court is kind to its soldiers too. After I retire, I'll still have the same benefits as a centurion.
Aw, that's actually really sweet. He still gets benefits. That's nice.
Grandmaster, I hope you won't mind me speaking my mind. When I found out I couldn't serve anymore, I really wasn't sure if I was ready to leave you, General Zuo, Yumen, and all my brothers behind, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I know we used to yell, the yellow sands will bury us all together, but I actually felt a little fortunate when I realized I could go home alive. And lately, I can't shake this thought either. Suppose I die on the battlefield. Even if my mother gets compensated for my death, how is she supposed to live out the rest of her life on her own? Do you perhaps consider me a deserter? Why would you think so? Your injury is definitive proof that you have defended your homeland for years. What could give anyone the right to criticize you? And even in plowing the fields back home, you would still be serving our country by producing food.
A single leaf falls from the old pagoda tree, having been replanted here from 100 li away. Even though the tree is now in a far superior environment, it is naturally yet to become accustomed to its surroundings. The two men's lingering tipsiness draws them closer to one another. The officer glances at the man standing next to him. He's the kind of man heard of only in legends, the kind of man one can only dream of laying their eyes on. Yet the man who stands beside him right now feels like nothing more than an approachable older brother.
I still have another question, but I'm afraid to ask. You and I risk our lives together. This makes us comrades. We may have different responsibilities that have thus far given us few chances to share a conversation, but that is no reason for us to be estranged. Haha. Hearing that from you makes me feel like all those risks I took were worth it. Grandmaster, why do you guard Yumen? Is it not for the same reason as any other soldier? But you're not like us and not quite like the General Zuo either. When I first arrived, the old veterans told me you'd already been guarding Yumen for a long time. But now I'm an old veteran myself, while you look just the same as all those years ago. Everyone calls you the Grand Master, but no one seems to know what your actual position is. We risk our lives together, but the court never seems to award you for any of your achievements. You have no family, and the heroine has been here in Yumen for so long too. Or perhaps it's because you have no equal under all the heavens, and the blades and arrows in the battlefield mean nothing to you. That you have no worries at all.
The man's eyes suddenly sharpen. It is at this moment that the officer realizes that he had said something he should not have. His lingering tipsiness vanishes without a trace.
My apologies. I shouldn't have said that. No, you are right. It is true. I'm different from the rest of you. That is nothing to hide, nor could I hide if I were to try. Right. But even if I am, what difference does that make? These yellow sands are vast and harrowing, but this is Great Yan's wall, behind which are our loved ones. Countless soldiers guard this place, suffer countless hardships, and brave countless deaths, but certainly they do it for more than honor and wealth. Have all of you asked yourselves, why did we stay here to defend this place? Is the answer really so important? We may not necessarily be so different. Besides, as you well know, I have a name just like any of yours, don't I? Is this a good time? Please, go ahead. Is something the matter? It's important. General Zuo, Grandmaster, I'll be heading back to the barracks now. The messenger from the capital arrived last night. You're being summoned back for a debriefing. With the situation here stable as of late, the court might perhaps have other arrangements for you. But hardly any time has passed this time. To the Sui regulator, your current stay in Yumen has been long enough. The messenger handed me the letter directly. It seems aside from the Sui regulator, the Ministry of War has also put on quite a bit of pressure.
The officer leaves his smithy and closes the door behind him. The conversation in the garden gradually fades away. The conversation he just had with the man now feels almost unreal. He tightens his armor and grips his aching arm. The breeze that morning feels awfully cold. Half a month later.
Brother Dajiang, these 2 jugs of wine are on me. I'll put them in your cart. Drink them on your way home. Take it easy when you steer the burden beasts. Don't break the jugs. I can't accept these. You've already given me so much. Nonsense. We fought side by side, and now this is where you draw the line. So you're going home and you no longer see me as a brother in arms? Of course I still do. Come to think of it though, I'm really not used to seeing you in the getup. I don't look nearly as impressive without my uniform, right? It's been years now. I'm still nowhere near retirement age, but you age fast in the military. Oh, stop complaining. Live a peaceful life as soon as you get home. Make sure to write us once you get married and start pumping out kids. We'd love to hear all about that. And come back if you ever have the chance. I'll treat you to another round. I will. Take care. You too. What a coincidence though, the Grandmaster's leaving today too. I'll think of this as me sending the both of you off. By the way, do you know where he's heading this time? I'll be off now.
The sands of time sweep all feelings away. I'll return home, but no one knows where to stay. What a party. Chungyu is such a chill guy though. And yeah, I don't have her stuff either, unfortunately. But we can look at her files at least. Yeah, the military is surprisingly... like, really fair. Like, dang. I like Chungyu. He seems like a cool dude. Heck, all the siblings except for Sussy brother. Like, they're all pretty good. They're entertaining. Basic info. Codename Dusk. Gender female. Combat experience undisclosed. Place of birth Yan. Date of birth November 11. Race undisclosed. Height 162 centimeters. Infection status. Medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam. Physical strength normal. Mobility normal. Physical resilience normal. Tactical acumen standard. Combat skill normal. Originium art simulation flawed. Profile. Dusk, a painter from Yan, awaiting assignment following the rather excitable actions of a certain resident of the landship by the name of Nyan. Dusk has been held as a guest of Rose Island. Her skills with the brush are impressive, particularly when it comes to the traditional Yan painting style. She currently resides off an isolated Rose Island walkway. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of the internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there's no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation, 0%. Blood originium crystal density, 0.00. Wow! 0.00, that's like the lowest so far. Like heck, usually it's like at least 0.01, but 0.00. Classified log. What, she actually took a physical? Wow, she's so easy? I figured anyone Nyan would haul in would be pretty much like her. Guess we're not gonna need Gabriel's help this time. Let her gear up for round 2 with Nyan. Nyan's idea for how to run the tests at the normal operator level had the examiner thinking of calling for a medic to shut the whole thing down. And Nyan sure looked pleased with herself. She knew exactly how that would go down. But Dusk is really out of shape. Whatever, she's not taking a salary, so it's none of my business. Oh, the results match everything in the files we got. She has no connection to Originium whatsoever. Not allocating any additional funds. If you're already struggling, you could always consider not starting a research project on some weirdo shut-in. Closure, wow. Archive File 1. She made a door in the walkway. It's literally a door you can walk through. And we almost never see Dusk come through of it. She told an HR operator that she has no interest in going out or doing any work. Well, she's honest. Ariel is just amazing. Of course, she doesn't use any of Rhodes Island's resources, but now one of our walkways has a fancy Yan-style door with an incomprehensible weirdo inside it that's creating some headaches for HR. While she refuses to see visitors, Dusk has said that she will continue to paint occasionally. Some of our staff have seen her work and find themselves struggling to express anything more interesting than "Wow" or "So pretty." Saga, however, did confide in me that Dusk is known to casually destroy those breathtaking pictures. On the upside, at least she's sort of an artistic, well-read type. There's the occasional operator who earns Dusk's favor, but they're few and far between. But at least she's a lot better than a certain layabout, right? What's with the sisters? Archive file 2. Okay, so we have one sister that just likes playing around, making movies, and eating hot pot. Another sister that just likes lazing around and painting pictures. Another sister that just likes drinking and sleeping. And then we have our martial artist brother, who's very, very diligent. And the next brother's supposed to be like a chef, right? So, look at the bros we're getting in Rhodes Island versus the sisters. Dusk has an interest in all kinds of contemporary artworks. If you want to get close to her, giving her books and photo collages is a great way to break the ice. But the way things go from there all depends on your taste and how well you pick things. Dusk shares her favorite works with a precious few operators, but they include quite very old movies from Ursus, Columbia and such. It's pretty rare that anyone gets to make friends with Dusk. She has a temperament that, if I'm being honest, is not quite as nice as Nyan's. You know, I wouldn't be able to deny that either, though. If I was one of the Sui siblings, they'd be like, "Look at this gotcha addict! How terrible!" The rare few who have a relationship with Dusk tell strange stories of a forest in her room, where they can find her sitting in a little pavilion. Okay, yeah, she was like she's the only exception in that regard. Or like they push the door to find themselves atop a mountain peak, with Dusk sitting bare-legged on the cliffs, watching the clouds. Is she really Rhodes Island? Maybe her door is some kind of portal? On the rare occasion I see Dusk in the corridor, I sometimes feel like she's a world away. Plus there's all those weird rumors about her. I mean, I've never been in her room either. Maybe she's one of the legendary immortals? Shen Yisian? I think that's what they call it in Yan. So anyway, let's not ask her to do any serious work anymore. We've had more than a couple of nosy operators disappear for a few days and then refuse to ever go looking for Dusk again. Oh right, one more thing. When Dusk and Yan go at each other, it's really something. Dusk speaks with a venom that sends shivers down my spine. If only those sisters could get along. They should learn from us, right, Lava? Medic Operator Hibiscus. That's kind of ironic, Hibiscus. Archive File 3. Oh, that's not arts. Quit bothering the theoretical casters. I know, every time Nyan pulls out some remarkable, otherworldly sword or shield or whatever, the theoretical casters work themselves into a fit. So let's quit while we're ahead and leave Dusk alone altogether. Let yourselves go while you're at it. You really want to choose a subject? Let's see if I can talk to you out of it. Just clear your mind and think for a minute. Lava and Saga both said that they unknowingly made their way into Dusk Scrolls, and Saga even said she traveled across the scrolls for 10 years. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what they said. It means they were actually wandering through the landscapes of her paintings for a time. And now, after a very short period at Rhodes Island, we've got reports of people experiencing hallucinations. We looked into the food poisoning or research accidents, but all signs point to that closed door and our operator awaiting assignment. The towering cities, infinite waves, blinding snowscapes, they are all depictions from Dusk's paintings. All just paintings. Is it a trick of the optic nerve? Or art applied at the cognitive level? We theorized, but after heeding Nyan's advice to use firecrackers to force Dusk out of her room, after two solid hours of questioning, our hypotheses were overturned by the facts. Dusk remains cooperative. I would guess she just wants to avoid trouble. and she'd rather not have to move too much. That's how artists are, I know. Tell me, researcher, where's the line between hallucination and perception? Take a look behind you and see for yourself. The vibrant blue, the autumn chrysanthemum. An HR operator picked it out of the sea of flowers that appeared to her. Does this give us a glimpse into how dusk functions, at least a little? Well, yes, dusk also participates in missions. Surprising, isn't it? She actually goes out. I went on one of these little cultural outings. These titles etched into my mind. Ink into armies, bleached bones abound, rivers run red. It was a few smugglers, and they surrendered on the spot, as they should. I touched the blood, I smelled it. It was so real. It couldn't be more real. But if you close your eyes, no, not right now. You have to close them right at the start. None of it is real. I tried it once with Dusk. Yes, you close your eyes and let her paint. And what she paints, you can't see or touch. The truth is, you would get the same answer if you ask her. She doesn't hide anything, she's just unable to explain it herself from a theoretical perspective. As long as you don't see it, you didn't see it, it didn't happen. So how do those who have seen the painting meet those who haven't? Our sample is too small to give an answer now. We need more data and experimentation. As for aerosolized crystal concentrations, energy spillage, and such, we have not observed anything at all. In other words, this is not Originium Arts. That's good, isn't it? You still want to choose this course of study? You're still interested in Dusk's paintings? Then I won't stop you. Interest can be frustrating in the end, but the process itself is enjoyable. Remember to doubt, remember to verify. Good luck, researcher. Archive File 4. After that one's death, we bowed our heads, and from thence began the Age of Peace. What else can I tell you? It's all here in black and white. We bowed our heads. No, I might ask how anyone could not bow their head. But to bow down doesn't mean I have to go along with them? We have our own ambitions, and we will go our own way. The lowly hermit hides in the city. The greatest hermits live in the painting. I like people. I need not act against them. As for when that old thing wakes up, it doesn't make much difference to me. Life and death are fleeting. Heaven and earth are constant. My brush too will be constant. What do I have to worry about? There's nothing that we brothers and sisters can do. Nian hasn't given up yet. She played too long and refused to go. As it should be. Her fixation on eating spicy food has rotted her brain. Delicious spicy food. You think I'm the one with no ambition? Whatever. It's only this I don't care about. Long days pass in time. Long dreams come to an end. Ugh, get out of here. I'm done talking about this. If the road outside becomes boring, if I stay here, it stays there. Everyone trundles on. What's the point? If only someone could do something to make it more interesting. Should there be such a thing, well, you must come and let me know. Promotion record. The varied beasts, like range on range, 11 told. In moon smoke flow, the clouds haze thick, sundown they glow. Manes blue like woods, bones ridge as stone. Quoth they, star-shrouded snow, hidden moon, man grade self, shades classed, all well. 5 arms it spurns, 5 fires it falls. Burn down its flesh, and ink wells out. When smoke recedes, its 2 heads gone. Yet the beasts elude. Night gives to day. At once they fade. Their form is false. Their matter false. Halt brush, when scroll. Foolish as wine. When dusk to ash. It is a complete rubbing of the inscription, but the content is upsetting. Wow, she actually has a complete inscription for hers. I wonder how it'll be for little brother you. These sibling files, though. Just wow. Dusk is the most comical for tonight. But tonight's winner overall, I'm gonna give it to Green Buds. Green Buds, with the power of a Disney princess and the backstory of a shonen protagonist. Like, you go, Green Buds. You're adorable. So precious. Must protect. I think Dusk might be the easiest to unlock. If I can. It's just gonna be a pain because I gotta raise some other operators to do that. Cause I hate how it's like... Okay, wait, let me show you. Only Defender operators are allowed for their remaining units. And only Vanguard operators are allowed for their remaining members. Like, oh, I gotta raise more people. Just, ouch. Oof. So I've been farming some EXP tickets. But at the same time, I kinda wanna save them for Brother Yu. Though, oh gosh, I hope Yu's gonna be kind since I was bad. I was summoning. I couldn't resist the last banner to get someone new, and... Look at me getting someone new, at least. Well, of course I'm gonna get someone new. But, pretty much took everything, but it's okay, you know? Like, welcome home, Stainless. Oh, I tried using the non-built ones and letting her handle the stage. I lost. It was bad. Or at least the Vanguard one. That one was just terrible. It lasted to a certain extent, and then afterwards... I'm like, well, it's okay. Time to raise people instead. But well, it's okay. At least these last forever. But woohoo! I'm prepared. Yeah, I'm gonna start the event this weekend. I'm debating between... What would be better, Saturday or Sunday? Decisions. Because it'd be good to at least start, because I want to start farming and farming and farming and farming. Just, it'll make things easier. For the 2 records, I'll see if I can do that. If not, I was just reading them off stream, which is okay, I guess. Okay, Saturday. Sure, Saturday for starting this event. Like, if only it did start tomorrow, that would have been so good, but... Saturday sounds good. And A, that gives me some time to start the Girls Frontline 2 event. Cause, oh, I gotta do that before it ends next week. There's hope in the world, there's time. I've at least been doing the side stuff, or at least the cat cafe. Not sure if I'll be able to for this weekend. Because there are guests over, or there's gonna be guests coming over. So, my room's not for myself. Usually this room is all for me. But because there's 2 guests coming over... One of my bros was kicked from their room. And has to room with me. Like, luckily right now I'm by myself. Because I was being... kind of a bitch and kicked him out. For tonight, so... We'll see how it is. It all depends, honestly. Next week, maybe. It'd be a waste not to read at this point. There's also just reading real quick before the actual starting. Because actually starting, as long as I have one stage, I can just farm that over and over. So either way, it'll work out in the end. But if I can do like a little prep before, or at least start early, that'd be nice. But if I can't, well. We shall see. I just gotta talk things out, being like, okay, so what's this weekend gonna be like? Like, come on, family. Let's see if I can even unlock those modules, though. If I can, sweet. If I can't, well. Because yeah, potentially next week at that point. If I can't this week. Let's see if I can even get those modules in time, though. I mean, there's plenty of time. Actually, I could just read those modules at the end of the event, too. Hey, hello. Just finished the prepping for the night. But yeah, Saturday for sure for starting the event. I'll put that down. At this point for Sunday, I should just start the FGO event. Because I know it starts on Friday, but Friday I was gonna do more Undertale. If I can, I just gotta talk to mom and dad, guys, being like, so what's gonna happen this weekend? Since I was only told things like today, so I'm kind of like scrambling. Like, oh no, I don't know what's gonna happen this weekend. Like, I had a schedule planned, I was gonna upload that, but then IRL scuff changes the plans. Everything being so last minute hurts. But hopefully they can give me some straight answers tonight. Like, they're still awake at this hour, it's fine. I'll warm up a bowl of curry and be like, yo, tell me some more info, please. You just finished the meeting before I started tonight's stream. Dang! Holy cow! But yeah, Saturday for sure then. Release this event. But yeah, hopefully I can get some straight answers to my family. Let's see what they tell me tonight. I'll be good and ask them. Like, please at least a little bit of information. Just the tiniest bit. So I'll go bother them now. So with that being said, thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and epic gacha luck. I'll text my bro that I'm done for this part so he can come home. I do feel a bit bad kicking him out. Literally kicking out, even though... Like, technically it would have been okay to sit here, like, in silence and in the corner during tonight's stream, but nah. I was feeling too stressed. But now I'll be nice, I'll be good. So I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Just like a small bit guilty. Tiniest bit of guilt.